Hello and welcome at Dota 2 Asia Championship, and here with me is CEO of Evil Geniuses, Peter Dagger, also known as PPD. So hello sir, how are you doing here?
I'm great, how are you?
So, and speaking of your panelist experience, and apart from being a player, so which side of the screen or which side of the stage do you like more?
Oh, I definitely enjoyed playing much more than being like behind the camera and like on talent, for sure.
But still, like for 3 months, you have become the new person, the CEO of multi-brand organization. So tell me please, what are your area of responsibilities at the moment, currently?
I kind of do a lot of different things. I kind of, we're a very new company. We don't really have that many employees just yet. We're hiring people, we do a couple hires every month. And so I fill in a lot of roles, whether it's accounting or bringing on new teams and new players. I work on a lot of our video content as a producer. I do everything, and not that I'm doing all the work, but I'm in a lot of different circles for EG. I kind of have my eyes and fingers on everything, I guess.
Still, it's not that new for you, because for the last couple of years you have been looking up to Alex Garfield, and he was a sort of mentor for you. But still, expectations versus reality. How harsh it was to adapt to something new and unexpected for you?
I think the hardest part was giving up playing and adapting into a new role that wasn't necessarily as exciting. The very first couple months of me not playing Dota anymore, I was focused on talking to accountants and lawyers and setting up a bookkeeping system so we could be ready for taxes next year. And those things, they just aren't that fun. I'm used to playing video games for a living, so it was quite the transition, but I'm finally really starting to enjoy my position.
And what about the Alliance? Because formerly it was sort of a sister company, but is it now affiliated or is it a separate one?
We're not really affiliated anyway. We share, both of us share a big sponsor in Monster, so we'll always be connected in some sort of way. And we're pretty decent friends with the guys in Alliance. We've always got along with them, so not connected in any ways, but we can always lean on each other if we need some advice or just a little bit of help.
And speaking about player-based and player-concentrated organizations in general, because we now have more and more of them, like you, OG, the Alliance were one of the first ones, Team Secret. What are the prospects of this type of management on the esports scene? Because
I think EG is a little bit different because we've been around for so long, and I feel like we're kind of a bigger brand than an OG or an Alliance or a Secret, because we're very much involved in other games and have aspirations to be one of the biggest esport teams in the world. So it's a little bit different, but player owned is just, people throw that term around, but we're kind of just like, some of our players have equity, and not all the players really have a say. It's just like they got in at the right time and they had a really nice opportunity to kind of get on board with this deal, and it made sense for everyone.
So it usually has no impact on management issues?
Not really. Sahil is kind of like one of the decision makers at the end of the day, but he's like, everyone kind of has a say, but at the end of the day, only a couple people are really the ones that get to make a final decision.
Still, you have mentioned some other games, because as far as I know, you have also profound players in EVO, different disciplines of fighting games, Halo and Call of Duty. They are largely popular in the United States of America, but what about new disciplines that are going to cover the ground? For example, Rainbow Six Siege is now thriving, totally, and some new disciplines. Are you planning to cover them and make some new players?
You're a fan of Rainbow Six?
Not really, but I was surprised to know that last month they had more players than Dota. It was rather a shock for me, because as for the advertisement, they don't put that much effort in it.
Sure.
But still, they have the
Rainbow Six is a game that I've looked at and definitely have my eyes on. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, we do focus mostly on a North America basis, as that's kind of our audience. A lot of our sponsors, including Monster and Xfinity, and most recently Hisense really looked to us for representation in North America. That's part of their advertising with our brand. So they want us to kind of stick to that region. So that just kind of makes a lot of sense for us to focus on games that have a popular fan base in North America. And fighting games are awesome. I love fighting games. We just picked up a Smash 4 player in Zenotto, so he's got a ton of positive feedback, and everyone seems to be.
Yeah, I've seen his performance. I usually follow not Dota that much,
Sure.
Usually Evo. So this is sort of a championship that I personally enjoy.
I think Smash has the Sunday spot at Evo, so it should be an exciting time. Hopefully he does well.
But you personally has sort of a hot spot on the new card game, Gwent from The Witcher.
Yeah.
So what made you grow on that?
Sure. So when I stopped playing Dota professionally, I've always been a fan of playing other games, whether it was Sims or Overwatch, or I played a lot of Skyrim on stream, and people were telling me, oh, Skyrim is cool, but it's not a very good game. And I was like, well, I'm a big fan of the Elder Scrolls series. I've always been a big fan. You should try Witcher. And I was like, Witcher was kind of 2 years old, and I was like, nah, I like Elder Scrolls. But finally, I don't know, something was I'm gonna try it. And I started playing Witcher, and I was like, holy cow, this game is amazing. This game is fantastic. And I played the in-game Gwent, and I really liked it. And I started almost judging NPCs based on whether or not they would play Gwent with me. And have you played the game?
Definitely.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. And when I played RimWorld as well, and I played maybe one other game. But anyways, I was trying a lot of different games, and I was having a lot of fun playing other games. So my mind is I'm much more open-minded about trying new games. So when people told me, hey, you should try the standalone, eventually, I took a little convincing, but eventually I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I tried it, and I'm very much addicted to the game.
So, and as for this tournament that you are participating in, definitely at some point at the very beginning, new disciplines are artificially boosted by large prize pools and all the other stuff, since they don't have that much audience. But what do you think? What are the prospects in the long-term run? So can Gwent survive among the competition between, let's just say, Hearthstone, Magic Traditional, and now we have TES Legends?
Sure. I don't know. It's interesting. I think that they're making a nice attempt at it. I think that I don't know if they can compete with a company like Blizzard or Hearthstone, but it's definitely really fun to play. And I've never really played any card games, and I never really even gave Hearthstone a chance, just because I was so busy playing Dota. But this is just a new game, and it makes me think a lot, and it's really fun. So I enjoy the game. I know a lot of Hearthstone pros have tried the game and have also liked it. So we'll see. Hopefully this event
Gwent is a bit more different from Hearthstone than TES Legends.
It's different, but it's still a card game, and it attracts the same kind of audience, I think. So we'll see if hopefully this event brings a lot of eyes on the game, and people at least give it a try, and if they like it, maybe they'll stick around.
So previously you mentioned the branding, the importance of branding of EG, your personal brand, and what about the brand Sad Boys? What about its potential? Are you planning to use it at some point in the future? I
don't think so. I think there was a point where we were with EG and we were kind of ready. I think it was a little bit after TI5 that we were ready to part ways with EG and kind of make our own brand. But then Twitch kind of came to us with the opportunity of taking ownership in EG and kind of continuing to build this nostalgic and historic brand. So obviously we shut down that project idea of going with a new brand and said, of course we'll take on EG.
Who would refuse of that? Definitely. And you know that you have heard the story about £1 billion of potential market of esports by 2020.
Sure.
By BBC. But still, lots of global brands like Visa, Audi, and different other big brands, they are not very eager to come into world of Dota because of its instability. All these shuffles, all these major refreshments or perturbations. So how should we, or what can different Dota personalities do to avoid this and to stabilize the market of this very discipline?
It's tough because you're dealing with a company like Valve who doesn't really care too much about money. Their most valuable resource is their time. So they don't operate like anyone else kind of operates in the space. You know, all the companies, all the esport brands, you know, PGL, imagine you guys, you know, we're very concerned about how to make more money and how to expand our business, where Valve is already at a point where Steam kind of brings in all the money that they could ever need, and their employees' time is what they value more than anything else. So it's kind of difficult to interact with a company that it operates at in a totally different way. And in terms of like stability, I think that's part of one of the cool things about Dota, that it's so unstable, and we see all these like, roster swaps and drama. But it does hold it back in a lot of ways, especially you know, with like big traditional sponsors and lots of non-endemics kind of getting involved in the space. We see, you know, Riot and Blizzard and Activision looking to, you know, bring on major sponsors like Coca-Cola and kind of, you know, put a bunch of labels on their big leagues and tournaments, whereas I don't think Valve's ever had a sponsor for any of their internationals. I think maybe some of the majors that they've given away have had sponsors, but even then, like, it's very limited, and you know, that could be like a revenue stream, or like they could share like media rights with the teams and players, but I don't really think that's ever going to happen unless something changes.
And what about the other part of the very esports and specifically Dota scene? I mean, reputation. Because, you know, some players, especially one player from one Russian team, is infamous for his, not even trash talking, I don't know how to say it. What's your attitude towards these kind of people?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Lil.
What about him? Like, I don't think his trash talk's that bad. I mean, he's just a kid, and he likes to. I think a little trash talk is nice. You know, after being exposed to the fighting game community, it's like one of my favorite scenes right now.
No, definitely. Trash talk is a part of sport in general. It should be. It's necessary. It's a vital thing. But where's this line between trash talk and controversy just for controversy?
That's like an individual player thing. I mean, people are gonna, you know, say whatever they want, and other people are gonna react in whatever the way they want to. At the end of the day, it's just social media is about people looking for attention or feeling like their opinions need to be validated by other people. So it doesn't really mean anything. If he like feels like he needs to vent on Twitter, and it, you know, that brings some solace to him, then he should absolutely do it. And if people are going to get an uprise about it, then I don't know, they feel like maybe them being offended or, you know, getting affected by it makes them happier. I don't know. It's like a really weird kind of thing. I've kind of been looking at social media like a whole different way the last couple of months. So,
well,
people can just do whatever they want to do, and I don't think it has a huge impact on really anything.
Okay, and what about this specific tournament? So, who do you see as a potential, at least, top 3 teams?
Oh, this tournament, obviously I like OG at one of the top spots, if not to win. I really like IG, especially here at DAC. I remember the last DIC was at, we played against Big Gods, which was what Burning and like Lon M, and the China crowd's gonna lose their minds when that team's playing. So I really like them to advance far as well. Lower bracket runs, obviously I'd love to see EG make a lower bracket run, but they got a long way to go, and they have a really tough best of 1 for their first match against Wings. But if they can get to the best of 3s, I think that they have a really good shot of getting up there. I really do think that they're a top 3 team. I think they're a championship team. I think they just had a couple of bad days, and, you know, we're dealing with a new patch, and it's a lot of games for a group stage, and it's kind of a new system that hasn't really come about since the Boston Major.
Definitely. Now we're getting used to single elimination, and then suddenly this one thing. So, and any shout outs before we let you go?
I don't know, shout out to you guys for making this as short as I asked it to be. And shout out to all the people at home watching EG and watching DAC and supporting Dota, and all of our players.
So thank you. That was Peter Dagger. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And you please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and wait for more videos to come. That was PPD from Evil Geniuses. Stay tuned.